cloudy, overcast night for week 5 of the high school football season. The Troy Colts visit the Lake Orion Dragons. We've got it all for you tonight on Orion Neighborhood Television. Pregame is underwritten by LOHS Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. The LOHS family has been an integral part of our community since 1951. Located at M24 and Silver Bell Road, LOHS Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, a proud supporter of high school athletics and Orion Neighborhood Television. Good evening, everyone. Doug Corliss along with Chris Fritching. It is week 5 of the high school football season. Troy Colts and the Lake Orion Dragons. Chris, the Dragons started out 10 points down to Oxford in the first game. Came back with a stellar defensive performance, and since then the offense has just been almost unstoppable.
Yeah, they've been very good. There's no question about it. I mean, to this game, through 4 games, they're averaging 42.2 points a game. And rushing on the ground, they're averaging 287 yards on the ground. And so they've been very impressive when it's come to that. They're fast starters offensively, and they're playing very well defensively, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the pregame. But they've done a nice job of getting off on a nice start. But the competition is getting better as the season goes on, and tonight you're going to see a better Troy team at 3-1. Yeah, Troy does come in at 3-1, and early in the season, it's kind of a credit to Coach Griffith that they are 3-1, because early in the season they were just decimated with injuries. Yeah, they're starting junior quarterback Jay Darish. He got hurt in the first game against Romeo, and then Justin Losey, their backup quarterback who started for them last year, ends up playing wide receiver for him. He went out in game 2, and their starting center went out and with mono, and so they've had those 3 guys gone for the last 2 games, and I think from what Coach Griffith said, they're all going to be back tonight. So you're right, it is a tribute to Coach Griffith and the Troy Cowboys, or the Troy Colts staff, that they are 3-1 to this point without those guys. It's hard to believe, but after tonight, we're more than halfway through what seemed like just started last week for the 2012 season. With this Dragon team, what's any particular player or position that's impressed you, during this season? Yeah, you know what, as I was looking at it and looking at all the games, looking at all the stats and so forth, I think the defensive secondary is really, and part of that is no question Nick Vogelmeyer and Nick Booker in the back end. Nick Booker's got 3 interceptions, 1 in each of the last 3 games, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're getting good pressure up front with that defensive line and those backers. I want to read some stats to you. We haven't given up. The Dragons have not given up over 100 yards in passing in any game, and that says a lot to the defense too, because as you know, Lake Orion's been ahead a lot in those games, and teams, in order to come back, if you had to pass the football, and they haven't given up 100 yards passing in any one of the games. Oxford 72, Troy Athens 82, West Bloomfield 66, and Stoney Creek 88. They're making plays defensively, and they're keeping offenses off the ball, and they're not driving. Offenses aren't driving for extended drives. So that secondary on the back end's done a nice job of really doing a good job for the defense. It's game 2 of the 3-game homestand, the Dragons and the Colts. Stay with us. Pregame has been underwritten by LOHS Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Located at M24 and Silver Bell Road, the LOHS family has been a part of our community since 1951. A proud supporter of high school athletics and Orion Neighborhood Television.
This quarter of play is brought to you by Jets Pizza, with 2 locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television since 2009.
We're about just under 15 minutes away from kickoff tonight. The Troy Colts and the Lake Orion Dragons. Troy is coached by head coach Gary Griffith. He's in his 22nd year. His overall record is 149 wins, 81 losses. Troy comes in with a record of 3-1. Last year, They were 3-6, did not qualify for the playoffs. Troy has been to the state finals twice, and I looked this up today. They were in the state finals one of the first years when they came to the finals in 1985, and they lost to Traverse City in at that time the Class A state final. Coach Griffith led them to a state championship in 1994, and he's had them 13 times to the state playoffs. The series between Troy and Lake Orion goes back to 1954. These teams played yearly from 1954 to 1968 in the old Oakland A and B League. They met again in 1994 in an OAA crossover. That was the year that Troy won the state final, and Lake Orion lost to Troy 6-0. Coach Griffith said later it was the hardest win he had all season. From 1996 to the current time, with the formation of the OAA, the teams have met yearly. The series coming into tonight is tied 16 wins and 16 losses for each team. Lake Orion, of course, coached by head coach Chris Bell in his 15th season, 105 wins and 27 losses in the regular season, 19-12 in the playoffs for an overall record of 124 wins and 39 losses. We've mentioned before the Dragons have made the playoffs every year since 2001, made the finals in 2008, losing to Rockford, and of course state champions in 2010. Chris, this is not going to be the same Troy team we've seen before. Your keys to the game tonight.
Number one, how are we going to contend? How are the Dragons going to contend with the Troy offensive line? Tommy Richards, they're led by Tommy Richardson, 6'4", 295, an all OAA player last year. And Greg Weber, who's one of the best top offensive linemen in the OAA. He's also roughly the same size, 6'3", 295. He's in his fourth year on the varsity. Both those guys are being looked at by MAC and GLIAC schools around the state. That size up front ultimately leads to their running game and the ability to stop the Cherry twins, Torrance and Terrence. And you're going to hear a lot about these two tonight because that's primarily what their offense it revolves around. Terrence has 511 yards on the ground this year, 8 touchdowns. His brother Torrance, identical twins, has 320 yards on the ground. Here's what I talked about. We're going to hear these names a lot, not only the name Cherry, but they in game 3, of the 53 offensive plays for Troy, either one of those brothers carried the ball 35 times. In game 4 last week, of the 48 Troy plays, 38 of those plays went to either of the brothers. So the offense revolves around them. There is their senior transfers from a military school in Indiana. They hadn't put the pads on since their freshman year when they were in Sterling Heights school system. So there was some question marks as to whether how or not they were going to be able to handle the contact and physicalness of the game. They've done a nice job, obviously, to this point in time. And then, thirdly, keys to the game is a mentality. The history surrounding this game, you talked about the long-term history, but for Troy's senior class, their football program at any one of the level has not beat Lake Orion. So you got to know that that's playing with the Troy Colts' mind, and we haven't beat this team. We're going on the road to play them. They're 4-0. They're getting a lot of the press, and oh, by the way, we come in and we're 3-1. We think we're pretty good, but we're going to find out tonight.
We'll go over the OAA Red standings. Clarkston and Lake Orion are atop the OAA Red. 4-0 overall, 3-0 in the division. Clarkston ranked number 2 in the state. Lake Orion comes in this week ranked at number 8. Rochester is 3-1 overall, 2-1 in the division. They're playing Pontiac tonight. Troy comes in 3-1, as we said earlier, 2-1 in the division. They've beaten Stoney Creek and Pontiac and lost to Rochester in week 2. And Stoney Creek is 2-2 overall, 1-2 in the division. The Pontiac Phoenix is 1-3 overall, 1-2 in the division. West Bloomfield comes in at 1-3 overall, 0-3 in the division, and Troy Athens is 0-4, 0-3 in the division. And Chris, I was talking with athletic director Bill Reese before the game, and also with Coach Griffith, and they both agreed that Troy Athens is probably one of the biggest surprises in the division, simply because they haven't won a game yet.
They haven't won a game, and they haven't looked good in many of those games. So you're right. They were pretty high coming off their playoff run last season, and they lost a tight game, 5 overtime game to Romeo last year, and they were expecting a lot of big things. And you're right. They've been one of the surprises in the OAA.
We'll cover our upcoming schedule for you. The Dragons are back next week for homecoming versus the Rochester Falcons. Dragons then go on the road on the 6th of October to Wisner Stadium in the Pontiac Phoenix. We'll be back here October 12th for what looks like right now the OAA red title game against Clarkston. And as we've always said, a lot can happen between now and then, but right now those two schools look like they're on a collision course. Week 9 will be the OAA crossover game. Depending where the Dragons are will depend who they play. They will play, if they're in first place, they'll play the first place team in the white, second place the second place team. Our officiating crew tonight is a Macomb area crew. The referee is Pete Utzma. Head linesman Dennis Olson. Line judge is Tom Hebert. The umpire is Tom Smith. And the back judge is Tom Thurston. Game conditions tonight, as we said in pregame, it's cloudy and overcast. The lights have been on since about 5 o'clock. It's cool tonight. When we walked up, it was windy. Looking now at the flag is limp on the flagpole. The trees aren't moving, so the wind's kind of gone away. They're expecting rain sometime tonight. And Chris, rain isn't the problem that it used to be. We have field turf now. The drainage is excellent. Remember some of those nights on grass where you go and you put your foot down in the turf and your shoes stayed in?
Sure.
Yeah. And it used to bother the receivers, but now everybody wears those tacky gloves, and it's just not the problems that wet weather used to be.
From not only a footing standpoint, but like you said, hand standpoint. And you know what? As we've seen to this point in time with Lake Orion, they haven't put the ball in the air like they have in years past. They've had that good, solid running game, and that the rain can have an effect on the passing game. And but bottom line, it hasn't come yet, and hopefully it's not going to come. But you never know. You got to play in all the elements.
Coach Bell always said it never rains on a football field. We're having a little presentation down at midfield. Athletic Director Bill Reese is presenting some of the state champion rings to some of the players that were on the state championship track team. Chris Lee is down there, Corey Esther, Zach Arnold, and many others. It speaks volumes for the Dragon Athletic Program that they've had state titles in football, baseball, wrestling was back in 1990. Now a track, and the girls volleyball team was a state runner-up this year. So it won't be long, and Coach Bell will lead the team out. The cheerleaders have already formed up under the banner. The moms forming the tunnel, and we're about 4.5 minutes away from kicking this thing off. Coach Steve Roberts out there.
And then here's the man at the helm of the team, the NHSAA Division I Coach of the Year, head coach Steve.
And the head coach comes out, MHSA Track and Field Coach of the Year, great job by the Dragon track team.
To the state champion men's track team from 2012. They are designated Phillips Ford Top.
Our scoreboard tonight will be brought to you by Wally Edgar Chevrolet. And if I can find my read sheet, I'll tell you all about Wally Edgar Chevrolet. There we go. Our scoreboard this half is brought to you by Wally Edgar. Hey, this is live television, folks. Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of ONTV and Dragon Athletics. We'll also let you know that our replays this season are once again brought to you by Jets Pizza. 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza supporting ONTV since 2009. We'll be back. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Wait a minute. Just under 2 minutes before kickoff for week 5 of the high school football season, the Dragons and the Troy Colts. You can tell a little excitement building. The moms are waving the pom-poms. The cheerleaders are ready. We look down. Coach Bell waves them out, and the Dragons take the field. Enthusiastic touching of the banner by the Dragons, and the dads are going to have a little work to do this week. Band plays the fight song. Colors are not turned up here yet. I think in 2 weeks when we come back for Clarkston, it's going to be spectacular around here. Dragons lining up. And band director Mike Steele will soon take the podium.
The privilege of this game is made possible by those who have fought for and continue to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. Let us honor and respect their efforts.
And of course, Mr. Steele does not take the podium tonight. Someone else does. We will pause right now. This is Annette Klein, the band director of Walden Middle School, and she will lead the band in the national anthem. almost ready for opening kickoff. And Chris, we've seen the Dragons run two completely different offenses, a double wide, double slot. Troy will run pretty much that same sort of offense, won't they?
They do, and they run it pretty well. Again, they've got the guys up front, size up front. They've got the speed on the perimeter, and Jawan Jackson is another back that they have that will be good for them. Who's got some of that speed. So we're going to see a very similar offense, spread offense that is, that Lake Orion has run quite a bit, quite effectively, other than the first half against Oxford this year.
And we'll let you know that DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies, 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Dragons are going to receive. They're lined up defending the south goal. They'll be moving right to left along your television screen. And kicking off for Troy will be Eric Hagan. And Chris, you've seen him. He's a big kid. He's a 6'5", 210-pound junior. And you say he can boom it.
He can boom it, and we'll talk a little bit later about what he did last week against Pontiac.
Whistle blows, and Hagan approaches, puts a foot into it, and we're underway. End over end kick, coming down to about the 2-yard line. Nick Booker takes the kick, and he's up to they're going to call him down at the 19-yard line. So the Dragons will start out 1st and 10.
Number 20, Matt Grecky, came down and avoided a block, avoided a block, and made a nice play, open field tackle.
Quarterback Derek DeLaura leads him out.
A little bit different than last week's opening kickoff.
Absolutely. Well, they didn't run that star formation. Dragons line up in the double wide, double slot look. Chaz Miller, Corey Esther, bunch to the left. Jeremy King, handoff up the middle, Jacob Miller, and he's just over the 20 to about just shy of the 21-yard line. Try to set some of the defense for Troy. Number 7, Alex Dello, is at an inside position. Number 58, Captain Connor Hayden, at an outside linebacker position. Toss back to Zach Arnold. He's coming around in. He's free. Up over the 30, 35-40. He's in the open, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. He got around that end, and it got sealed, and he had nothing but grass in front of him.
We've seen that before, too. I mean, wow. Troy brought their strong safety, Danny Wunderlich, down on the slot and did a great job of our slot back, and we'll get to see it here in a second. Our slot back did a great job of sustaining that block and springing, among the others, to spring.
Jeremy King in for the point after. Kick is up. Kick is good. 11-13 left here in the first. Dragons up 7-0. Well, how do you like that? 81 yards in 2 plays. Efficiency. Okay, let's see if we can see who springs this block here.
Wunderlich comes down in the box here, the slot receiver, or the slot free safety, and Corey Esther does a nice job, and also
Corey Esther and Chaz
Miller on the edge, and then even downfield, a great block there at about the 35-yard line to spring Zach for a big 79-yard touchdown run. It's 7-0 last week with 11:45 to go in the first quarter. 7-0 this week, 11:13 to go in the first quarter. So
number 6, Terrence Cherry, back deep, along with his brother, Number 5, Torrance Cherry. So it's safe to say Cherry takes the kickoff. Jeremy King has the ball teed up on the 40 toward the near hash. Whistle blows. High end over end kick, chasing Cherry back, and they're going to call it a touchback. So it'll come out 1st and 10 from the 20. We'll try to set the Troy offense. Number 76, Tommy Richardson, who you mentioned, to be at, looks like a guard spot, along with number 77, Captain Greg Weber, and they're huge. There's no other way to explain it.
Jay Darish in under center, well, not under center, but in the shotgun formation.
Yeah, they'll be in the shotgun most of the night. Handoff to number 6, Cherry, and he gets just past the 20 to the 21, where he's met and dropped.
Nick Vogelmeyer came from his safety spot to come up and make a play. 6 on 6. 6 Vogelmeyer tackles 6 Cherry.
So that brings up a 2nd and 9. Ball's on the 21 on the far hash. Darish back in the gun. This time Terrence Cherry comes out split right. Torrance Cherry is back there somewhere. Pass out on the right side, complete, dropped by Nick Booker. That was number 3, Justin LOHS. And we saw him, as we said, we saw him last year playing quarterback.
Darius just catches the ball, and Booker and Charlie Highland over there. Charlie Highland was sitting a little high, and they just ran a simple little hitch route to the outside for a gain of about 6.
That brings up 3rd and 4. Ball's on the 26-yard line. Darish approaches under center, but he backs up. I don't think we saw him under center. LOHS under center, going deep. And they're calling it incomplete. Nick Vogelmeyer was with him step by step, and the Dragons are saying that Vogelmeyer intercepted it, but they're calling it incomplete. Great coverage, great go up and get it by Nick Vogelmeyer.
Yeah, there's no question. Coach Griffith said Darish throws a nice long ball, and he sure does right there. And it sure looked like Vogelmeyer came down with the ball and had possession of it before it popped out. But
he did have possession, but
that's one of those ones you can't go back to the replay booth, unfortunately.
Lake Orion's calling timeout.
I think it was a matter of getting personnel in, and it looked like Troy was rushing to get their punt off, and Lake Orion wanted to make sure that they were set and ready to go.
Let's watch that again. It looked like Nick Vogelmeyer came down with the ball tucked in his arm, and then when he hit the ground, right there, the ball came out when he rolled over. But the officials are saying the ball touched the ground. It's 4th down, and Jacob Miller's back to receive the punt of, is that Quincy Walker, number 1 back there? You got to get these guys to turn around once in a while. Snap back, high snap. Kick is away. That's number 7, Danny Wunderlich. Jacob Miller takes it. He's inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line of Troy, where Lake Orion will take over 1st and 10.
That's one of those low kicks. You don't get a lot of hang time on it, and it's a line shot to Jacob. And it doesn't allow your punt team enough time to get down, and as a result, the Dragons get a nice return, start with the ball on the plus 33.
Dragons break their huddle. Still looking double wide, double slot. Corey Esther in motion. Handoff, reverse handoff to number 24, Chris Lee. and he's up over the 30 down to the 29. A little different formation we've seen out of the Dragons. It was more of a bunch.
As Delores trying to put the ball, reach the ball, look, he's kind of bobbling it just a little bit towards his hip, and fortunately he was able to get it to Chris Lee for about a 4-yard gain, 5-yard gain.
Number 14 unnamed player and number 31 Jalen Parker in on the tackle for the Colts. Second down, Jacob Miller up the middle, inside the 25 down to they're going to mark him on the 24.
Simple little jet trap flow. You got Chris Lee coming in motion and Jacob Miller running the little trap. Running the ball hard as he always does for about a 4-yard gain.
Nick Sally had a good clearing block. Opened it up for Miller. Jacob Miller again, down to the 20. That'll be first down for the Dragons. Brought down by number 22, Justice Bigelow. So it'll be first down and 10 from the 20, 9 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Kind of a bunch formation. Chaz Miller split a little to the left. Esther comes in motion left. Toss back to Esther. Trying to cut it upfield. He's got a gain of about a yard and a half. Brought down on the far side.
Number 32 for the Colts did a nice job of setting the edge. Jeremy King was getting movement or get blown back a little bit, and as a result, back Esther had to cut up inside and was only able to get one out of the play.
Connor Hayden on the tackle for the Colts. 2nd and 9. Ball on the 19-yard line on the far hash. Miller still the lone setback. Back to throw, and Delore overthrows Chaz Miller.
Well, Chaz was open. The free safety came down in the box, bit on play action fake, and Chaz got inside number 32, Christian Purnell, and Derek Delore just threw it a little bit high. He tried to rush. He saw Chaz was wide open. He kind of rushed it a little bit and sailed it high.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and 9, ball on the 19. Dragons still in the double wide, double slot look. Miller and Esther split left. Arnold and Jeremy King split right. Miller alone back in the backfield. Wait until the referee spots the ball. Delora back. Throws. Oh, he had Chris Lee wide open in the middle and he dropped it.
Wide open is right. He came from the right slot position right across the middle. And
in his defense, it looked like Derek Delora put it on his hip.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like he at the same time he turned his head to try to gain that extra yardage without securing the ball first, and that's a no-no as we know, and as a result incomplete. We're going to have to kick against a little win.
36-yard field goal by Jeremy King. Nick Booker will hold. Snap is back, ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So King makes a 36-yard field goal, 33 yards in 5 plays, and the Dragons lead with 7:50 left here in the first, 10-0.
Be sure to tune in to replays of your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the most current games in our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check out our program guide on our webpage at OntV.org for replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. Also visit our YouTube link for the games on demand, www.OntV.org.
So Jeremy King will kick it off again. Cherry brothers deep on the 5-yard line for the Colts. King approaches. End over end kick, again driving Cherry back to the goal line, and they'll call it another touchback. Colts will take over, 1st and 10 from their 20. Well, so far the Dragons have capitalized with field position and that quick strike, that 79-yard TD run by Zach Arnold. I think that from there on, now Troy's got to play catch up, and I don't think that's what they wanted to do tonight. Number 4, Jay Darish at quarterback. Torrance Cherry's in the backfield. Number 3, Justin Losey in a slot left. Number 5, Torrance Cherry in motion, and he gets the carry, and he's up over the 20 and dropped after a yard gain.
We talked a lot about the Cherry brothers getting the football. Four plays for the Colts right to this time. Four carries for the. I take that back. There was one play deep that was incomplete. My fault. 3 out of the 4 plays that they've run have been to the Cherry brothers. So
good solo tackle by number 15, Connor Grant. So that brings up 2nd and 9. Ball's on the 21. Darish getting the play signaled in. Coach Griffith runs the defense. It's kind of usually a head coach runs the offense. Coach Griffith runs the defense at Troy. Handoff, number 6, Terrence Cherry, and he's grabbed by number 62, Travis Hill, for no gain.
Travis came off the backside and was virtually untouched and made a heck of a play in the backfield for no gain.
So that puts Troy in another 3rd and long, and we have a player down on the field. So while they attend to him, we will ask you, have you ever wanted to make your own TV show or operate a camera for a live sporting event? Be part of our happy group here. Well, ONTV can make it happen. Your first step, though, is to sign up for orientation. It's free and offers you a look behind the scenes of ONTV. Call 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060 for more information. Do what? On the web. Okay. As I get my cue for what to read next. There we go. ONTV is now available on the web. Surf on over to our page at orionontv.org. There you can access locally produced on-demand games, talk shows, and news programs instantly. If you have a smart TV, you can watch ONTV in high definition right on your TV set through your YouTube app. ONTV is also on Facebook. Be sure to like us to get recent links to your favorite ONTV programs. And I'll finish that promo after this play, which is a 3rd and 9 for Troy on the 21-yard line. Darish takes a snap, back to look, and he's hit and buried. Number 62, Travis Hill, comes through again, and nobody laid a hand on it.
After what he did the last time, you might want to pick him up. No play action. There's the last play where Terrence got hurt. Terrence Cherry got hurt, came off the field, and nonetheless a 9-yard loss for the Colts.
And another 3 and out. Jacob Miller back deep to receive the punt of number 7, Danny Wunderlich. High snap, and he tries to rugby it. He had great pressure from number 21, Brandon Clements, and Jacob Miller makes a fair catch. Again, at the Troy 39-yard line.
You know, I think to this point in time, 5 games into the season, we've seen I don't know if you call it a trend, but Lake Orion has had great field position, and special teams has done a big part of it. Now, flat out, they didn't have to do anything this particular possession as far as catching a punt, but the fact that the defense was playing so tough and so physical and making plays sets up a nice starting drive for the Dragons.
Derek DeLaura under center, trips to the right. Chaz Miller, the only wide receiver, to the left. Chris Lee comes in motion. Jacob Miller gets the ball up the middle, makes the first guy miss, and is dropped at about the 24-yard line. Dropped by number 35, Eric Ceriti. Dragons going no huddle. DeLaura stays under center. Corey Esther in motion this time. Back to pass, throws over the middle, knocked down, and almost intercepted.
Yeah, Derek never got his feet set. It was kind of floated it out there. Esther goes in motion. DeLaura drops back, but never is kind of not attacking and pushing off that back foot to get a lot on it. It kind of floated out there. He's kind of, as Derek is throwing it, he's kind of fading away, and nonetheless, it was knocked down.
3rd and 6, full house backfield for the Dragons. Jacob Miller gets the ball, and he's dropped immediately. Number 59, Quinn Hayden, in on the tackle, and a host of others.
Yeah, first time the Dragons went to that tight formation, that full house backfield, and end up losing a yard or barely getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Dragons going to go for it on 4th and 6, just under 4.5 left here in the first quarter. Jacob Miller, lone setback. Play action fake. DeLaura's going to throw, makes the first guy miss, and just over the fingertips of Chris Lee. Chris, could he have made it if he tucked it and ran?
You know, it's close, but Chris was so wide open. You want to get it to some of your better athletes in space, and you just put a little bit, I think, too much on that little pass, and as a result, off the fingertips, and that's a good thing for the Colts. They're able to stop the Dragons turnover on downs after giving them fairly good field position in their own territory. So we'll see if what the Colts can do with the football now.
We have a timeout on the field for something. The head linesman called the timeout, and they're going to have a little conference. 3:46 left here in the first. Dragons up 10-0. Dead ball. Oh, they're asking to reset the clock, I believe. The referee signaled 1-1, so okay. Now we got the clock set. It's set again at 4:11.
Terrence Cherry back at the game for the Colts. He went out for a play last series.
Cherry in motion. He gets the handoff, being led by his brother. He's around left end and out after an 8-yard gain to they're calling him out at the 44-yard line. That was just the old sweep left.
Torrance comes in motion, and you're right, his brother leads, and number 34, Ethan Groh, took a poor angle and wasn't able to get to the outside, and as a result, the Colts bring up 2nd and 2.
Number 76, Tommy Richardson sustained his block on Nick White. Sprung him for the last few yards, so 2nd and 2. Well, let's see. Everybody bought the play fake, and the play went around left end. Number 4, Jay Darish on the keeper. Great play fake, because I'm looking up the middle, Yeah, he kept it, went right around, knew where the stick was, and got out of bounds. So 1st and 10.
Great play fake as 2 Dragons tackled the initial ball carrier, the initial back coming through the middle.
We saw that last week, if you remember, where they called, where they had an inadvertent whistle on the play. So 1st and 10 for Troy from the 48-yard line. Pass over on the left side. Darish to Justin Losey. Gain of about 4, bring up 2nd and 6.
That's the second time they run that little hitch route to the left side of the field. They must like the matchup over there on Charlie Highland.
So 2nd and 6. Again, Troy in the spread formation. Darish over to number 6. That's Terrence Cherry. And he gets maybe a half yard again on that little hitch throw.
Yeah, this time it was to the slot. They put Drew Braun to the outside, number 12, and he's supposed to be blocking Highland. And Highland came off the block. Braun never got his hands on Highland, came up and made a nice open field tackle.
So 3rd and 5 for the Colts. Ball's on the 47. Darish again in the gun, sends Cherry in motion, fades back to pass, rolling right, looking, being chased, and he's going to get out of bounds. Chased by Derek Williams and Nick White, and just did get out of bounds. That's more of a coverage than anything else.
There's no question, no question. He was forced out of the pocket because you're right, Derek Williams is coming off the backside, and you can see that. You can see why the Colts missed Jay Darish. He throws a nice ball. He's a good athlete, and you can see why they missed him over the last couple of weeks.
So 4th and 6, Troy will go for it. And now they're going to do a little quick shift and bring in a long snapper and punt. Nick Booker drops back deep to receive the punt. Wunderlich on the punt, high hop. Booker takes it in full stride, makes the first guy miss, but not the second. Number 76, Tommy Richardson on the stop. First guy that made a miss was number 77, Greg Weber. So Dragons take over 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line. 2:46 left in the first. Dragons come out in kind of a bunch formation, still 4 wides with Jacob Miller, the lone setback. Zach Arnold gets the toss, coming around the left side. He's got the corner, flag on the play, and Arnold's out of bounds at the 43-yard line, but this one's coming back, I'm pretty sure.
Chaz Miller, number 20, is on the outside, on the line in that little bunch formation, and his left hand slipped off the backside of the Colts defender, and it was pretty clear even from up here that that's what that was.
We've said it before that for years, you know, the Dragon wide receiver, especially under the tutelage of Coach Frisching, prided themselves on blocking at the edge and not holding.
Well, I mean, I always talked about it as being a touchdown block. That perimeter blocking is so huge. You're only going to see the ball, 4 to 6 times a game. And what are you doing the other 40, 50 times in a game? You're blocking.
First down, right up the middle for Jacob Miller, and he's got open field. Cuts it back over the 40, the 30, the 20, and down at the 15-yard line.
He was not touched until he got inside Troy's 20.
The middle of the line parted like the Red Sea.
Wow. And here's what we talk about, too. Look at not only that hole, but look at Miller up down there just bumps number 14 a little bit. And down here, Esther stays away from the block or doesn't hit him in the back, and he's not touched till about right there at the 20-yard line. Great play by the Dragons.
So first and 10 for the Dragons on the 14-yard line. 2:20 left here in the first. I think it was Miller up the middle.
It was Jordan Waymer that time.
Jordan Waymer up the middle. As Jacob Miller gets a breather, gain of about 1. Bring up 2nd and 9 from the 13.
How about that? You after a hold, a nice run, and a hold's brought back, and the next play, boom, a big run by Miller.
Full house backfield for the Dragons. Double tight end look. Jacob Miller on the carry. Got a block from number 28, Shane Kelly?
29, Dom Giovanni.
Giovanni. The 8s look like 9s from up here, or the 9s look like 8s. Giovanni comes out. Zach Arnold checks back in with a 3rd and, they're calling it about a 3rd and 4 from the 7. Dragons again, full house. Zach Arnold, 5, touchdown Lake Orion Dragons. And he fought for every yard of that.
Not only can you not teach speed, but you can't teach desire and attitude and want. And that's what you see here, a great stiff arm right there. Jersey's being tugged down, his shoulder pads falling out, gets pounded out of bounds, and he still gets the ball over the goal line for a Dragons touchdown.
76 yards in 4 plays, 8-yard TD run by Zach Arnold. Jeremy King for the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 1:16 left here we're still in the first quarter. Dragons 17, Troy nothing.
If you're a fan of sports talk and just plain zaniness, and we've seen a lot of zaniness already tonight, then tune in to Between Terraminas, a different kind of sports talk show. New episodes air live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. right here on public access Comcast Channel 10, AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Also check the ON TV program guide on OrionONTV.org for other air times that best fit your viewing schedule. Well, I think to this point in time, the Dragons like the longer field to work with. They started the ball at their own 19. 2 plays later, they scored 79 yards out. They started this last drive at their own 24. 5 plays later, they take it in from 8 yards out. So
Jeremy King approaches, kind of a squib kick. First touch on the 20, picked up by one of the upbacks, number 44, Davis Stowbridge, and he brings it out to the 26-yard line, where Troy takes over 1st and 10, brought down by number 43, Josh Sutton.
I wonder if that was a mishit by Jeremy, because he's boomed the last couple balls into the end zone, and it's barely cleared the end zone, but nonetheless, it's brought the ball out to the 20, and he kind of squibbed that one. Again, I don't know if it was a mishit or not. But
probably was, because he's had a real good year with kickoffs this year. It's like a golf shot. Keep your head down and follow through. So Darish brings him out, 1st and 10 from the 26. Cherry Brothers in the backfield. Handoff to number 5, that was Torrance Cherry. He's up over the 30 to the 31. Gain of about 5.
All they're doing is just running that little lead ISO. And number 58, Nick White, comes off his block and makes a play. About a 5-yard gain.
2nd and 5 for Troy. Darish again in the shotgun. I don't expect we'll see him under center. He'll come up and call something out to the offensive line, but they stay in the shotgun just about all the time. Cherry on the sweep, That was number 6. That was Terrence Cherry. And he gets maybe a yard. And that should be the last play of the first quarter. Under 10 seconds. And they're going to be content just to let the clock run out. We're at the end of 1. Lake Orion 17, Troy nothing. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
This quarter of play was brought to you by Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics since 2009. This quarter of play was underwritten by CJ's Lakeside Grill at 21 West Flint Street in downtown Lake Orion. Dine in or carry out. CJ's Lakeside Grill since 1997, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
All right, we're starting the second quarter. Troy Colts with a 3rd and 4 from the 32 and flag down. And we have an encroachment penalty against the Dragons, and that might just give the Colts a first down.
Yeah, you know, it does. It was 3rd and 4, and Ethan Groh was a little bit anxious coming off the slot, and looked like he was going to be blitzing off the edge, and you're right, it does give him a first down.
I don't have a green light. All right, so we got a 1st and 10 for Troy on the penalty, and Cherry on the run. He's got a first down.
Looked like Nick White had a chance to get him about 3 yards in the backfield, and again, the speed with Cherry was able to elude the tackle, break the tackle, and get a nice first down for the Colts.
So 1st and 10. Ball is just over midfield at the Lake Orion 48-yard line. There we go. Now we got it fixed. Had a little audio problem here. What we have is with the Lake Orion penalty, and then Cherry just made about a 10, 12-yard run. So Troy has the ball, 1st and 10 from the Lake Orion 48. Cherry on the carry, and he's dropped shy of the 45-yard line. Since we're trying to fix our audio problem, I kind of lost a couple plays on my play charting here. Number 1, Quincy Walker, kind of heading off the field a little gingerly. So we have a 2nd down and 8 from the 46. Just underway here in the second quarter.
What's interesting in this Colts scheme is that one brother is blocking for the other brother, and a lot of times on the sweep and the ISO plays. And
Darius back to throw, and it's picked off. Picked off by number 21, Brandon Clements. And Darius kind of telegraphed that one, and Clements undercut the route, picked it right off. So Dragons take over from their own 40-yard line.
Colts just get into Dragons territory, and then that happens.
And they really were starting to get a little rhythm going on this drive. Full house backfield for the Dragons. DeLaura, nope, handed off, and I couldn't see who got the handoff.
Waymer again.
Jordan Waymer on the run. Good job with a play fake by DeLaura. I think everybody in the stadium was expecting Jacob Miller to get the ball, and he just did kind of a reverse handoff. Miller gets the ball this time. He's up over the 45 to, they're going to mark him down at the 45.
Backside guard number.
Hey, it's raining pretty good if you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, and that might be one of the reasons why maybe that ball sailed on Darish earlier. It might be one of the reasons why Coach Bell's keeping it on the ground right now in this bunch, or this tight backfield.
Delora under center. He's going to throw. Got Chaz Miller, and he dropped it. Chaz Miller had, I think it was number 14, who we don't have on our schedule or on our roster.
Good play action fake by Delora, and he's getting a little back pressure, but number 14 does a nice job.
No, that was Wunderlich.
Number 7 does a nice job of getting that right hand in there to knock it down. I think Chaz probably could have, that was a comeback route. He probably could have come back towards the ball a little bit more to kind of box out Wunderlich coming off from his safety position. But nonetheless, Wunderlich, who leads the Colts in interceptions with 3, did a nice job of knocking it down.
So Brad Schanzer comes in to punt. Number 14, who I still don't have on my roster, back deep for the Colts at halftime. I'll have to see if if Roger Smith has it. Schanzer, pressure, and he got the kick away. Taken on the 16-yard line and gets up to the 20, and Troy will take over 1st and 10.
One of the few times this year that the Dragons have not been able to take advantage of a turnover.
Yeah. And in Chaz Miller's defense, Wunderlich was hanging on him like a cheap suit. He did get his arm in, but he was draped all over him. So 1st and 10 for the Colts from the 20. 9:20 left here in the second quarter. Darish sets back between the Cherry brothers. Handoff to Torrance Cherry, and he's up maybe to the 25, they're going to call it, which will bring up 2nd and 5.
Now, when you say it's coming down, it's coming down pretty good.
Yeah, you know, we can't see it much here. We can see a little bit in the glare of the lights, but boy, we get our field view, and it's coming down pretty good. 2nd down, Troy's in a 4-wide look, 1 single back next to Darish. And that is one of the Cherries. Little hitch pass out to number 3, Justin Losey. He spins forward to about the 29-yard line.
Just one of those little hitch screens to an uncovered slot, and number 21, Clements, misses on the initial tackle. Brenner Rourke comes over from his linebacker spots and cleans up.
So that brings up 3rd and 1, ball on the 29-yard line. It's a long one. Nose of the ball just shy of the hash mark. Handoff number 6, that's Terrence Cherry, and he's got the 1st down over the 30-yard line. Nothing fancy, just jumped and got the 2 yards he needed.
Nothing fancy, but those are the things that are going to keep the Colts in the ball game. Not only driving and earning making small steps, driving the ball down the field, keeping that Lake Orion offense off the field.
So 1st and 10 for the Colts. Double wide to the left. Darish going to throw. Got number 3, Justin Losey, but the catch was made out of bounds. Incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10.
Hilarious just drops back. He's got some nice protection. Tries to throw the ball in that hole between the cover 2 safety, the half-field safety, and the cornerback. He does throw it in that hole, but that hole was just too wide, and there wasn't a lot of room to work with over there on that Troy sideline.
So 2nd and 10 from the 32. Darish fades back, little toss, almost a little bubble pass to Cherry. He's got a gain of about 2. They're going to mark him at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, just that little swing route to Cherry, and those are the types of plays you run when they got good, when the Dragons have good pressure, good penetration, and you want to get the ball to your athletes in space, hoping that a linebacker is going to miss in the open field, and that time they didn't.
So 3rd and 5. Scoreboard says 3rd and 6. Darish, quick hit over the middle. Complete and buried by Nick Booker. That's number 12. As soon as I can find Drew Braun. Made a catch in space and got buried by Nick Booker.
Good little play action, and all he does is hit that little slot receiver right over the middle, and talk about a textbook tackle. We saw that right there. Wow.
So 1st and 10 for Troy. Ball's located at their 47-yard line. 6:40 left here in the second. Trips to the right. Darish gonna throw, and either the receiver cut the wrong way or he just overthrew him, because there was nobody in the vicinity of the ball.
We talk about it at the outset, the Lake Orion secondary, and you saw that the interception by Clements earlier. You saw that tackle by Booker earlier. You know, the kids are smart in the back end. They're physical, and they know how to break on footballs.
Again, trips to the right, single setback next to Darish. Rolls to the right, throws, and underthrew number 3, Justin Losey.
They run a little comeback route to the Troy sideline, and Nick Vogelmeyer is sitting on top of the route. And Derek Williams, number 42, is the one that drops from his linebacker spot into the passing lane. It makes it a very difficult ball for Darish to complete.
Yeah, Nick White was starting to put pressure on him, and he had to get rid of the ball. So that brings up 3rd and 10 from the 47. Again, trips to the right, single receiver to the left, single setback. Darish with a handoff up the middle to number 6, Terrence Cherry, and he's brought down. That'll bring up 4th and 10 for the Colts.
Number 55, Trent Elkins, made great penetration and really kind of almost leg whips him to make the tackle, not on purpose necessarily, but he got penetration past number 50, Brian Johnson, the center, and his feet tripped him up for little or no gain.
So an 8-play drive comes for naught. Jacob Miller back deep for the Dragons. Take the punt of Wunderlich, and that's a
boy, that was awful close to hitting.
Yeah, it was. They're going to let it roll down to the 9 where they down it. That was an ugly looking punt.
It was, but because it's so low and we've got Dragons trying to block and set up some sort of return, it almost hit number 12, Kyle Bell, in the back or in the leg, and it was awful close. I think that's the officials are talking about right now. Interesting strategy if that's what they're trying to do, which I'm guessing they weren't.
Talking with referee Pete Oatsma tonight before the game, and they have a couple changes in their crew. They have a couple replacements in, and one of them looks to be at the umpire spot.
You're not talking about officials and replacements, are you?
You know what? But that was Tom's. I'm sorry, it was the back judge. Look, I used to replace it. The umpire, Tom Smith, is a regular member of the crew.
Replacements at this level too? Gee.
I, for one, think it's being overblown. I don't think they've been doing that bad of a job. And if you remember, at the first Lions game, we had the first female official to work an NFL game. Zach Arnold gets the carry on the sweep, and he's tackled behind the line.
Esther in motion. They do a little reverse handoff to Arnold, and Miller was not able to sustain his block on the edge.
Yeah,
and as a result, the Colts made a nice play.
Davis Strobridge got good penetration, made first hit. So that brings up 3rd and 8 for the Dragons. Corey Esther on the sweep. He's got a first down. Over the 20 to the 21-yard line. Tell you what, he showed some wheels on that one.
He showed some wheels. He showed some patience. He shows that again, that willingness to lower his shoulder and get that first down. Miller does a nice job right here, just chipping number 32 enough, and Zach Arnold does a nice job on number 58, just to hold him up enough to allow Esther to get that first down.
1st and 10 for the Dragon. Jacob Miller up the middle, up to the 30.
And one play sets up another. You see motion going one way, you got to be aware of it based on the Dragon speed. You see motion coming one way, and all of a sudden you run that little trap inside to Miller, and there's a nice balance offensively, as we've talked about all year.
2nd and 1 for the Dragons. 9-yard gain for Jacob Miller, and we have a flag, and they're going to call false start against the Dragons. So that'll back them up and make it a 2nd and 6. I didn't see who moved. The umpire threw the flag, so I have to assume it was one of the interior linemen. So ball's located on the 25 on the near hash. Tight formation to the left. Chaz Miller, Zach Arnold, split wide right. Jacob Miller's the lone setback. And Corey Esther gets a handoff. He's in the open field to the 30. And touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. "75-yard touchdown run." You want to say something about big strikes and big plays?
I think we've already said that tonight.
Many times.
Haven't we?
91 yards in 5 plays.
You know, Corey's a kid who hasn't gotten a lot of touches throughout the season, and just another back that again has got the wherewithal and the speed and that knack for the end zone.
Jeremy King to attempt the extra point. Nick Booker holding. Snap is down. Kick is up. Kick is good. And with 3:15 left here in the second quarter, the Dragons lead 24-0.
Here's
Let's
Arnold
just
comes
watch
in motion.
this.
Number 53 does a nice job. John Yaglinski downfield, and then it's just a foot race. And securing that football, and not much more you can say about that.
Christian Purnell tried to keep up with him, number 32. And finally, you know, there comes a point, and this comes from people that can run, which was certainly not anything that they associated with me, but there comes a point you just dive for the guy and try to grab an ankle.
Well, I think that play is set up by the fact that Zach Arnold has had some big plays off the edge, and they set Zach Arnold in motion the opposite way, and then Corey Esther comes back underneath, so they got to be aware of the speed going one way, and oh, by the way, Corey Esther comes back the other way, so there's a number of guys they can get the ball to.
Jeremy King, high end-over-end kick. Comes down to Cherry at the 7. He's up over the 20, 25, and still on his feet over the 30 to about the 33-yard line. I'm finding out that if I just say Cherry took the ball, that was number 5, Torrance Cherry.
That's what I said at the outset. The number of times the brothers touched that football, and we're talking 85% of the time. The last 2 weeks, they've touched the football, one of those two.
So Troy takes over really in their best field position of the night on their own 35-yard line. Darish in the shotgun. Cherry in motion, hands to the other Cherry, and he's up to the 40-yard line, maybe the 39, before he's tackled by Evan Groh, Nick Booker, and a whole bunch of other dragons.
Nice play call, because the Colts run to the Lake Orion defensive bubble, and number 77, Greg Weber, is the one who pulls. They ran the ball to the left off tackle and gained about 5 yards out of it. I don't know if that's something that Darish is checking at the line of scrimmage, but nonetheless, one of their better plays of the night.
Number 3, Charlie Highland, made the first hit for the Dragons. So it's 2nd and 5. Darish back to throw. Got pressure, got hit as he threw, and a ball short. Intended for number 3, Justin Losey. And we have a flag on the play. I don't...
Yeah, Nick White's been getting pressure all night long.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, he just...
They're going to call personal foul.
Hit Darish just a little bit late. Derek Williams in coverage on that crossing route, and that ball was thrown behind. Whether Darish felt the pressure or whether the rain had any effect on that ball being thrown behind, I don't know. But
it looked like he hit his arm as he threw, and
could have been.
Whether they felt he should have peeled off after he made the hit.
Yeah, that's one of the things over the last couple of weeks Coach Bell's got to be a little miffed about is the number of personal fouls that have gone against the Dragons.
So, moves Troy up into Lake Orion territory at the 45-yard line. Cherry with the ball, vaults the first man, and brought down by Nick Vogelmeyer, Derek Williams, Connor Grant, and a host of Dragons.
That was just a matter of number 30. All right, Brennan Rourke just doing a great job of not letting that number 59 get that turn. All right, get turned upfield. He just kept stringing it out, forcing Cherry that much more wider. And again, get back to the original line of scrimmage.
So 2nd and 10, no gain on the play. Trips left this time. Throw out on the side for Losey, got him at the 40-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5. That's just that little out pass again.
Yeah, it's that out from the slot. They're clearing with the outside guy. They're running the go route downfield, and they're taking advantage of Losey one-on-one on Williams. And good athlete against good athlete, and they get 5 yards out of it.
So 3rd down and 5, 1:41 left here in the 2nd quarter. You want to borrow my umbrella when you go get stats?
I'll need something.
So 3rd and 5. Darish back to pass. Looking, got pressure. He's going to run, and he's tackled by Derek Williams for a 5-yard loss.
Boy, I tell you, Nick White, he's been in that backfield all night long. Look at the penetration, the pressure he gets right here, and forces Darish up in the pocket to allow Derek Williams to clean it up. A 5-yard loss.
Yeah, nobody saw Derek Williams, so the two guys that were supposed to be blocking for Darish, nobody saw Williams. He just snuck behind him and made the tackle for the loss. We have a timeout on the field. We have a Troy player that's not getting up too good. Okay. So we'll remind you while we have this break in the action, the DVD copies of tonight's game can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377. For only $10, you can have a copy of not only this game, but any game or event covered by Orion Neighborhood Television. Call ONTV today at 248-693-3377. Well, Chris, Troy has tried to get some drives going, but it's been a turnover. It's been a tackle for loss. It's been something they just cannot sustain that drive once they get into Lake Orion territory.
Yeah, 4 punts and an interception by Brandon Clements, and again, as we talked about at the outset, Lake Orion has not given up these big drives, and that's a testament to their offense, their defense, their special teams, and putting their opposition into situations where they got to drive the ball 60, 70, 80 plus yards. And,
Number 50 Captain Brian Johnson was the injured player, so he's helped off the field. And it'll be 4th and 10 for Troy. And they go into punt formation. Number 10, Nick Booker, drops deep for the Dragons. So there's another drive that started at their own 35-yard line. They get into Dragon territory and they're forced to punt. Snap away. Kick is up by Wanderlich, and it's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. Dragons take over, 1st and 10. 1:25 left here in the second quarter. See if I can find another read to do today. We'll remind you again that our scoreboard this half is brought to you by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of ONTV and Dragon Athletics. And we'll also remind that our video replays are brought to you by Jets Pizza, which will finish after this play. As Jacob Miller up the middle for about a 2-yard gain. Jets Pizza, 2 convenient locations in the Orion area, supporting ONTV since 2009. Just over a minute left here in the second quarter. Plays being signaled in by Coach Bell and Coach Darren Tooley. Only one of them works.
Yeah, it looks like they're obviously content with going into halftime with a 24-0 lead and not doing anything foolish to turn the ball over deep inside their own territory. So the Dragons coaching staff should be very pleased with what's transpired at this point in time.
Yeah, Dragons call timeout with 40 seconds left. So while we have this break, we'll say go mobile with ONTV anytime. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on your mobile devices. Connect with ONTV to see what's happening in our new studio, see upcoming events, and watch ONTV programs in high definition and on demand. ONTV, working to bring Lake Orion to the world.
Speaking of going mobile, that Lake Orion offense is pretty mobile down the field.
It is.
You know, I mean, Zach Arnold with 79-yard touchdown run, Corey Esther's 75-yard touchdown run. It's, you know, from our vantage point, it's not only are we staying dry, but we're watching some fun football.
We're so used to see Lake Orion throw the ball all over the field, and they're still not afraid to throw it. But if you've got guys that can peel off 75-yard touchdown runs, why should you? Jacob Miller just goes up the middle. Little extracurricular going on.
Yeah, I realize
play.
You can't see it from where you're at on the screen, but you've got Jeremy King 25 yards downfield on a simple draw play, working his butt off to block his defender. I mean, that's the mentality you have to have, and that's the mentality the Dragons do have.
This will probably be the last play of the half. So the Dragons will go into the locker room leading the Troy Colts 24-0. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
This quarter of play was underwritten by CJ's Lakeside Grill at 21 West Flint Street in downtown Lake Orion. Dine in or carry out. CJ's Lakeside Grill since 1997. A proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics. Halftime is underwritten by Oxford Bank at 60 South Washington in Oxford. Locally owned and operated since 1884 with 9 locations throughout Oakland County. And by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Lake Orion High School is proud to present in performance from Majors Thomas Vieira, Jocelyn Paxton, and Jacob Garrison in the Lake Orion High School Marching Band.
Halftime was brought to you by Oxford Bank at 60 South Washington in Oxford. Locally owned and operated since 1884 with 9 locations throughout Oakland County. And by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Sports. This quarter of play is brought to you by City Grind Skate Park, offering year-round indoor skating and instruction. City Grind Skate Park, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
It's halftime at Lake Orion. The Dragons lead the Troy Colts 24-0, and what we expected would be more of an even game, but Lake Orion again is dominated. Chris, you got the stats.
Yeah, about the only thing that Troy leads in right now is a number of first downs. They have 4-3 in the stats. Here's the statistic that tells it all other than the scoreboard. 284 yards rushing for Lake Orion, 35 for Troy.
Wow.
Lake Orion has not completed a ball. They're 0 of 5 for 0 yards. Troy is 7 of 12 for 36 yards. Troy's punted 5 times. Lake Orion just punted one time. Lake Orion has 4 penalties on them for 35 yards. To lead Lake Orion in rushing, Jacob Miller has 12 carries for 107 yards. Zach Arnold, 3 carries for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. Corey Esther, 3 carries for 86 yards and 1 touchdown. Jordan Waymer, 2 attempts, 2 yards. Chris Lee, one rush for 4 yards. As I mentioned, Derek Delores 0 of 5 for 0 yards in the first half, and they haven't needed to put the ball in the air really, and because the ground game has been so good. This is their 3rd best rushing total to this year, and they're only at the halftime. For Troy, Torrance Cherry, the Cherry brothers, number 5, 6 carries for 33 yards. Terrence Cherry, number 6, 6 carries for 9 yards. Jay Darish has carried the ball 4 times for a -10. He's 7 of 12 for 35 yards, and he has thrown an interception to Brandon Clements. Justin Losey has 5 receptions for 24 yards to lead Troy in receiving. So, at the outset, we thought that Lake Orion had to stop the size of Troy's offensive line, which led to a quality running game by the Cherry brothers, and they've certainly done that. And now at 24-0, we also mentioned the fact that this Troy senior class has not beaten Lake Orion at any level of football, freshman through JV and on up to varsity. So they get the ball to start the half for the Colts. They hopefully for them have made some adjustments to get them back on track, but it's pretty impressive not only on the score but in the stats for Lake Orion this first half.
And you've talked about that the offense gets all the notoriety, as well they should, because they're putting points on the board. But this defense has been tremendous ever since the halftime of Oxford game, the Oxford game.
It's been terrific, and 0 points this half and 7 points last week, 7 points the week before. They're playing really well.
Jeremy King puts a foot into it, high end over end kick, coming down to Cherry at the 1. He's up to the 15, cuts left and down at the 17-yard line. Brought down by number 43, Josh Sutton. And that was number 5, Torrance Cherry. So at the start of the second half, we'll remind you, DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. And I'll finish the promo after this play. Darish, inside handoff to Cherry. He fights over the 20-yard line up to the 21. It'll be second down. Okay, for only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Second down and 7. Darish between the Cherry brothers. Handoff to Cherry around the end, and Derek Williams chases him down.
It sure looked like Cherry had the edge for a split second there, and all of a sudden, number 42, Derek Williams, comes out from his linebacker position, and just his size and speed makes a nice play, and Cherry happens to be down at this.
Yeah, we don't call Derek Williams' number a lot, but he's just there and he's steady. Let's catch this last play now. Still the wrong one. We're still working with our. Here we go. See what happens to him here, because Derek Williams just gets a great shot at him.
Brennan Rark holds the edge there, and then they're just not getting to that second level. The Detroit Colts offensive line is not getting to that second level where Brandon is playing, and Derek is playing, and you have to be able to get to guys like that. Derek's one of the best players in the OAA, and you got a size and speed that he's got. You got to get to him and make a play.
Yeah, Coach Jennings over coaching them up as he always does. Troy's going to go over to their sideline, and the Dragons will come over to the sideline. So during this break, we will we'll go over the OAA standings again. Coming into tonight, Clarkston and Lake Orion tied for the top spot at 4-0, 3-0 in the division. Rochester, next week's opponent, 3-1 overall, 2-1 in the division. Troy Colts, the opposition tonight, 3-1, 2-1 in the division. Stoney Creek, 2-2, 1-2 in the division. Pontiac is 1-3 overall, 1-2 in the division. West Bloomfield 1-3 overall, 0-3 in the division, and Troy Athens 0-4, 0-3 in the division. And tonight, Clarkston is at Stoney Creek. Pontiac is at Rochester, and Troy Athens is at West Bloomfield. So that's our schedule tonight. And as we said, next week the Rochester Falcons come calling to Dragon Stadium. We'll be back here next week for ONTV's coverage of Lake Orion football for homecoming against the Rochester Falcons. The Dragons then go on the road for a week to Wisner Stadium and the Pontiac Phoenix. And then we'll be back here on the 12th of October, 7 o'clock in the evening versus Clarkston. It always seems to come down to this. On the 19th will be the OAA crossover game, and the Dragons will be on the road for whomever they play. So we'll be here, like we said, for the game against Rochester, the game against Clarkston, and any playoff games that the Dragons should happen to have this year. Well, number 5, Torrance Cherry, is being helped off the field very slowly. And I can't tell if it's Torrance, number 5. Yes, that's, and we can't tell if it's because after Derek Williams hit him, Nick Vogelmeyer kind of rolled up on his legs, and I think he just doesn't know what state he's in. I think he got hit pretty well and is not feeling real well at this moment. We'll also remind you that replays are brought to you this half by Jets Pizza, 2 convenient locations in the Orion area.
6 for the Colts. Backside guards pulling, and the number 5 is leading up through the hole, and Walker does a nice job of finding a hole until he gets to that second level, and Nick Booker, another textbook tackle.
2nd and 4, ball on the 49. Two backs in the backfield next to Darish. Inside handoff. And nothing doing this time. Nick White, Nick Vogelmeyer, Ethan Groh, and Connor Grant in on the tackle for the Dragons.
Nick's got that big club on his hand. And
yeah, he does. That was Quincy Walker again.
And Brennan Rourke does a nice job of coming off that edge from his end position on the right side and just closing it down. He saw the lineman down block, and he just closed off the back side of that down block and was able to flow fast down the line and get in on the play.
3rd and 4 from the 49. Backs come at the kind of a wing look. Darish back to throw. He's got pressure, and down he goes. Nick White with club and all came in and dropped him. And he was in so fast that Darish didn't have time to do anything with it.
Well, number 78, Damian Howard-Doney, was pass setting and picking up, was supposed to block Nick and knock him outside and wide, and he doesn't. He blocks him right into Darish's, right into Darish, and as a result, a big-time loss.
Damian Howard-Doney was the one, and he just pushed him.
Pushed him right into Darish.
So Wunderlich back in punt formation. Jacob Miller back for the Dragons. End over end punt, fair catch called for by Jacob Miller on the 41-yard line. So it's the second half full of punts so far. 4:29 left here in the third. Dragons up 24-0. Be sure to tune in to replays of your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the most current games in our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check out our program guide on our webpage, orionontv.org, for replay times. Corey Esther on the sweep. Tries to cut it upfield, and he's trapped in the backfield by number 32, Christian Purnell. We've called his name a couple times. So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. They're calling him no gain. Now, Christian Purnell is 6 foot 145. And he's out there on the island against Chaz Miller at 6'7". Delora, handoff up the middle. Maybe a 3-yard gain with Jacob Miller on the run. So that'll bring up 3rd and 7. Watching Coach Bell and Coach Darren Tooley flash the signs in. Big 3rd down for the Dragons. Delora back to throw. He's going deep. Got Corey Esther. He's got it at the 30-yard line. He kind of hung the ball up, and Corey Esther really had to stop and just wait for it.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to do on an underthrown ball like that. He's not only contending with rain and a defender on him, but he's got to go up and get the football. And the protection is there, and Delora does a nice job of stepping up to the pocket. There's not much of a win, but underthrown ball, and Esther was able to come back underneath and kind of box out the defender, go up and catch it for a big 1st down.
Great camel work, guys. So that brings up 1st and 10 from the 29. Full house backfield for the Dragons. Jacob Miller gets a handoff, cuts it upfield. Just was ready to get into open field and got tripped up by an ankle by number 44, Davis Stonebridge, and we've called his name a lot tonight.
Giovinazzo was the right back in that formation. He's the one who kicks out, and all Miller has to do is follow Jordan Waymer up through the hole, and he was able to follow him up for a gain of about 6 yards.
So 2nd and 4 from the 23, 2:19 left here in the 3rd. Full house backfield again. Delora hands off to Miller.
Same call.
And he's in. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons.
Same exact play. Giovinazzo kicks out. Waymer leads up and through, and Miller follows him. Waymer, that is, into the end zone for 6.
That was Waymer on the touchdown?
That was okay. Miller on the touchdown.
No.
Waymer was lead blocking.
Was the lead block. So we have 57 yards in 5 plays, 23-yard touchdown run by Jacob Miller. Jeremy King on for the extra point. Nick Booker to hold. And flag on the play. The kick was good, but it's going to be a dead ball foul. Flag was thrown in the backfield. So we'll look for the call.
They might want to consider going.
Yeah, it was a substitution penalty on Troy. They had 12 guys on the field and just couldn't get a guy off fast enough. And we talked about this last week, that there's somebody on each one of those special teams unit is supposed to be able to count to 11. So it moves it in to the 1.5. And you're right. Penalty was declined, so they're just going to repeat the kick. Jeremy King again for the attempt. Ball's down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 2:10 left here in the third as the air horn goes off somewhere. Lake Orion 31, Troy nothing. Okay, here it comes again.
There's a replay. There's a kick. Waymer doesn't even have to touch anybody until about the 5-yard line in Wunderlich. And again, a nice guy. If Waymer scores on a play like that, guess what? Miller's going to score on a play like that, and that's exactly what happened.
And they'll both congratulate each other like they scored themselves.
You know, and that's the smart thing about the coaching staff is that they ran that play just prior and it was successful. Go right back to it. And you know what? That mentality is you know what? Until you can stop us, let's keep going to it.
Sure.
And that's what they did that time, and obviously very successful.
It was almost like when Jacob Miller got to the second level, he kind of turned around to look and say, where is everybody? Jeremy King puts the foot into it. High end over end kick coming down to Cherry on the 3. 10 cuts left. That's and good cutback. Tackle by number 7, Alex Plord, to start them deep in Troy territory on their own 7-yard line, 12-yard line. Watch Alex Plord come in right there and just grab an ankle. 2:05 left here in the third. Dragons 31, Troy nothing. Troy 1st and 10 from their own 13.
Yeah, Terrence Cherry's been out since they pulled him. He got hurt that last series. He's been out ever since, and that has a big effect on their offense.
Yeah, it does. It takes away about half their running attack, and I know that number 1 Quincy Walker's come in and done a good job. Pass over the middle to number 9 Andres Salinas. And he's up in for a first down. First time we've called his number tonight.
Darius just throws a nice little seam route to Salinas right over the middle, kind of an uncovered slot. And Connor Grant does a nice job from his middle linebacker position, dropping back and finally making the play. Unfortunately, a big first down for the Colts.
Under 2 minutes left here in the third. Colts 1st and 10 from their own 25. Darish calls out to his lineman, back in the shotgun. Hand off to Cherry up the middle. He goes nowhere.
Brennan Rourke again, geez. All he's doing is watching that lineman in front of him, that tackle in front of him down block, and he's just closing tight off that block and going in and making a play.
Yeah, and these guys, Brennan Rourke's 5'11". These guys that are making all these plays, Connor Grant's 5'9". These aren't real big guys, but they're not afraid to go in and stick their nose in. 2nd and 10 from the 25, just over a minute left here in the third quarter. Darish gonna throw. Little swing pass. That goes out to number 10, Tommy O'Donovan. Again, first time we've called his name tonight. And he's out close to a first down. They're gonna call it 3rd and about 2.
Just running that little swing pass right out of the slot formation, and a guy we've called a lot of tonight, number 42, Derek Williams, comes from his backer position and knocks him out of bounds.
So that brings up a 3rd and 2 from the 33.
See the little swing route there, and here comes Derek Williams, knocking him out about 3rd and 2, just a little under 2.
Darish back in the shotgun, Cherry alongside of him. Gonna throw again. Dropped. by number 8, Mike Bardo. He was wide open. Nick Vogelmeyer was closing, but he just dropped it.
Yeah, it's a situation where, Bardo's trying to make something happen, catch it and get upfield, and as we've said before, it's got to catch it, secure it, and then get upfield, and it certainly didn't that time, and that would have been a key first down for the Colts to at least give them a shot at getting back in this game.
So number 7, Danny Wunderlich, back to punt. Jacob Miller deep for the Dragons. No pressure, high kick, nice kick. Miller takes it on the 30, dances around up to the 35, 40, 45 midfield into Troy territory, into the 40. He's loose, and I think they're going to call him out of bounds about the 28-yard line. Yeah, they're going to call him out on the 28.
I don't care who it is. You're looking up into a driving rain. You're looking up in 10 guys are coming down to get you, and you're trying to catch the football and trying to find a seam. And why do I keep saying Andrew? Jacob does a nice job of eluding the tackle there, staying down the sideline and keeping his balance. And it's hard to tell from here, but it sure looked like he was inbounds. But we'll trust the official's judgment on that side.
Yeah, if he was out, number 7, the punter, Wunderlich, pushed him out. So Dragons take over, 1st and 10 on Troy's 28. Inside handoff, Jordan Waymer on the carry, inside the 20 down to the 18. Troy's possessions, second half, 3 and out punt. 5 plays punt, 4 plays punt.
So Jacob Miller is out this play because he returned the ball on that punt, and they give the ball to Jordan Waymer, and Jordan does what Dragon backs do.
Well, he does what you're supposed to do, and that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. He makes the first guy miss, and it's something that running backs coach like yourself have preached, make the first guy miss. We're at the end of 3, Lake Orion 31, Troy nothing. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
This quarter of play was brought to you by City Grind Skate Park, offering year-round indoor skating and instruction. City Grind Skate Park, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics. This quarter of play is underwritten by Meloche Palace Chrysler Jeep Ram. The Meloche family has been a part of the Orion community since 1951. On M24 and Silverbell Road, Meloche's Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Start of the 4th quarter, Dragons up 31-0. I'm Doug Corliss along with Chris Frisching. For the disparity in the score, it's been a good ball game tonight, Chris.
It's been a good game if you want to talk about big plays, exciting plays, big runs, textbook tackles, things like that. And
DeLaura, hands off. Jacob Miller's up the middle. Is that Miller or Waymer again? Dom Giovinazzo on the run. We have 29, 38, and 23. And they all look the same from up here.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good, and they're all moving the ball. Dragons going to the full house formation. Instead of a 2 tight end, they got Chaz Miller in at one end, Jeremy King in on the other. Handoff, Jordan Waymer again for about 2.
Another late flag.
Flag on the play.
Called.
Let's see what he calls it. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Troy, and I think that's when frustration's starting to set in. It's raining, and from what we can see, it's raining pretty good. It's raining, it's cold, you're losing. You know, and it's not what you planned on when you got off the bus coming in here tonight.
No, you never plan on that, and you prepare all week, and you scout, and you game plan, and you put together a package both offensively and defensively, expecting things to be different. And when it comes down to it, the Dragons have certainly proven that they're the better football team.
So that'll move it half the distance, make it 2nd and goal from about the 4, maybe the 3. Scoreboard says the 4, so will we. 2nd and goal. Derek DeLaura under center. Hands off and dropped in the backfield is number 29, Dom Giovazano. Yeah, I was talking with Coach Darren Tooley before the game. He's coaching the quarterbacks, and he said, you know, the thing about Derek DeLaura is he's not worried about going out and feeling like he's got to win the game. He's managing the game, and he's still learning the quarterback position because he didn't play at all last week, and he's got last year, and he's got 4 varsity games under his belt. And Coach Tooley says he's been very, very impressed with his attitude and with what he's been able to do. Into the end zone, 6'7", grabs it, touchdown Lake Orion Dragon. Chaz Miller went up and got it, and when he goes up and get it, there's nobody else going to go up with him. That's what we've been looking for, to see him go up and grab the ball.
He'll roll out. He's got all the time in the world. Kind of does underthrow it just a little bit, and if number 22, Justice Bigelow, turns around and looks for the ball, he might be able to knock that ball down, but they're scrambling and fighting for it at the edge, and Chaz comes down with it for 6.
28 yards in 5 plays, 4-yard touchdown pass, Derek DeLaura to Chaz Miller. Jeremy King on for the extra point. Nick Booker holding, kick is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 10:32 left here in the 4th quarter. It's your score, Lake Orion 38, Troy 0. We'll remind you now that since we do have more than a 35-point spread, that the point differential rule comes into effect. And we have a flag. We have a dead ball, personal foul, again, against Troy. And against Lake Orion, offsetting. So since we do have more than a 35-point spread, we will have a running clock. And that means, as we said last week, that the clock will only stop for timeouts, injuries, penalties, and scores. Go out of bounds, clock keeps running. Incomplete pass, the clock will keep running.
And Derek DeLaura was 0 of 5 in the first half. Derek DeLaura's 2 of 2 in the second half for a big play to Corey Esther, and then the 6-yard touchdown pass. 8-yard touchdown pass to Chaz Miller.
Those are the guys you feel for. Our crew, the Lake Orion coaches. Jeremy King puts a foot into it. Ball's taken on the 5 and returned up at, it almost looked like number 90. Did you get a?
Number 80. Number 80.
Number 80 is Derek Dashke.
He's a freshman.
So the Colts take over on their own 15-yard line.
Look at that field position to start the second half. Their own 18, their own 10, their own 18, their own 12, and their own 15.
Yeah. Well, they started out the half on their own 19. So Troy comes out, 1st and 10. 5 wide look now. No back in the backfield. Darish throws, incomplete. Intended for number 3, Justin Losey.
He just ran a little smash concept where the outside receiver runs a corner route and the inside receiver runs the outside receiver runs the hitch route. The inside slot receiver runs a corner route, and Losey hadn't turned around at all, and Darius threw the ball a little bit early, thinking that he was going to throw him and hit him on the seam, and LOHS never turned around in time to see the football incomplete.
As a receiver, don't you have to have kind of an internal clock that say turn around and look for the ball?
Yeah, I think it had to be miscommunication there, because I think Darius thought it was a seam route, and LOHS was running the corner.
Darius in the gun, pass, looking, and got it to LOHS. LOHS's over the 30-yard line. So first down, run out of bounds by number 10, Nick Booker.
Number 3, LOHS comes from the far slot, just a simple crossing pattern, and you'll see him up at the left of your screen come across the middle and wide open underneath, and there's not anybody downfield until about 15 yards later, and Booker knocks him out of bounds. First down, Colts.
Ball on the 32, still in a 5-wide look for Troy. Complete, number 80, Derek Dashke, and he's run out of bounds about the 36-yard line. They're going to call it the 38, so it'll bring up a second down and about 4. 8 minutes left here in the game.
You know, the Troy offense, as we talked about, has been primarily the Cherry brothers, and Lake Orion took the Cherry brothers out of the game to this point in time. But as we also talked about, and we saw in the very first series, Darius throws a nice ball, and I'm surprised that the Colts haven't put the ball up in the air a little bit more.
That was intended for number 80, Derek Dashke, who's a big kid for a 9th grader, 6'1", 190, and the ball went through his hands and almost picked by Derek Williams, and also almost caught by Justin LOHS, but it's still an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 4, complete to LOHS. He's got a first down, tackled by Nick Vogelmeyer at the 46-yard line.
I've been very, very impressed with the Dragons' open field tackling tonight. You know, there hasn't been many situations where the Colts have gotten their guys in space, but when they have gotten their players in space, Dragons have done a nice job of making tackles, and good clean tackles.
5 wide, 3 receivers, split left. Throws complete to Cherry, and he's brought down in Dragon territory at the 48-yard line. That's the first we've called Cherry's name in a long time.
Little swing play, and nice block on the edge by number 10, Tommy O'Donovan, and brings him about 2nd and 4, 6-yard gain.
2nd and 4, ball on the 48. Darius got pressure, gets away from it, being chased, and he's going to run it and gets maybe a 2-yard gain. Number 62, Travis Hill, chased him and just couldn't keep up with him. Couple changes for the Dragons. Number 43, Josh Sutton comes in. Number 55, Trent Elkins comes
Brennan
out.
Rourke came in untouched off the edge that play. And instead of attacking the quarterback's back shoulder, he attacked his front shoulder and allowed Darvish to run out wide and get the couple yards.
Darius got on the keeper, got a first down. Ball spotted on the Lake Orion 43, just over 5 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. And Darius has got to kind of stop and catch his breath. He got hammered as he got out of bounds. Cherry alongside of him. Back to throw, throws deep. Got number 3, Justin LOHS. Good seam route, and he hit him in stride.
Nice protection here, and yeah, you're right. He throws a very nice ball right in the hole between the two safeties and over Derek Williams' head, and LOHS makes a nice catch. That's the Colts' biggest play of the night.
Hit first by number 6, Nick Vogelmeyer. 1st and 10 from the 16. Colts on the move. Throws almost intercepted, and they are calling it intercepted. Number 6, Nick Vogelmeyer. It was a low thrown ball, and Vogelmeyer went down and picked it off.
Little comeback out route to, it looks like LOHS on the top of your screen, and that's a heck of a play, heck of a catch, and we've talked all year and all night even about how the defensive backs for the Dragons do a great job of breaking on the football, I should say. As soon as Darius took his front hand off the ball, Vogelmeyer is already planting his upfield foot in the ground, coming back down on and making a play, and that's just being an athlete, understanding, watching film all week long, and understanding where you need to be to make a play.
Wholesale changes for the Dragons. Kyle Bell comes in at quarterback. Brad Schanzer in at one of the end positions. Bell hands off up the middle to number 23, Jordan Waymer. Gain of about 5. 2nd and 5 on the 11. Under 3 minutes left here in the 4th. Wholesale changes again. Schanzer comes out. Troy trying to make substitutions, but the formation was already set. Up the middle again. And trying to see who, number 24, Chris Lee on the run, it looked like, for the Dragons. Kyle Bell at quarterback, full house backfield for the Dragons. Up the middle again. Dom Giovinazzo on the carry. Under 2 minutes left. Kyle Bell's at quarterback. Number 26, Justin Pavlicek, in at one of the back positions. Chris Lee in, and Dom Giovinazzo. Bell under center. Handoff up the middle. Trying to see who had, yeah.
Justin Pavlicek, the ball carrier. One more birthday wish for the box of the box, who turns 55.
That was Justin Pavlicek on the carry. 3rd down and 9 from the 19. Dragons are just milking the clock. If they could get a 1st down here, the game will be over. We're on the right side. Dom Giovinazzo on the carry, and that'll be the last. I'm sorry, that was Chris Lee on the carry, and that'll be the last. Now they're probably going to have to get one more play off. We'll watch for when the referee marks, but he's looking back at the clock. If they get under 25, which they did, the Dragons do not have to snap the ball again. So we're running the final 15 seconds off, and the Dragons will go to 5-0. Under 5 left. And there's your ball game. Dragons win. Lake Orion 38, Troy 0. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. We'll be right back.
This quarter of play was underwritten by Meloche Palace Chrysler Jeep Ram. The Meloche family has been a part of the Orion community since 1951. On M24 and Silver Bell Road, Meloche's Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
From a very soggy field here at Dragon Stadium, after the Lake Orion Dragons defeat the Troy Colts 38-0. Chris, how many times can we use different words to say dominating? I mean, they're just willing to run the ball and then rely on their defense to hold it the other way.
It's a combination of offense, defense, and special teams, because how many times do we talk about Lake Orion getting short fields to work with? Unfortunately tonight they had the long field. They were busting the big plays for the yards and scores that they did. 284 yards in the first half alone, rushing on the, very impressive. And needless to say, the defense, for the first time this year, pitches a shutout. Well, they probably could have the last couple games as well, and just been a complete. Other than the first half, which we keep referring to at Oxford or against Oxford, each and every game they've completely dominated the games. If you're a Dragon fan, it's a heck of a lot of fun to watch.
We've both been kind of offensive guys, but if you had to scout this team and prepare a team to play this Dragon team, what's the first thing how do you scout and how do you prepare for this?
Bottom line, if you don't have the personnel, if you don't have the speed, if you don't have the guys, if you don't have the that can play the game, it's tough to be able to match that up and try to run scout teams, during the week. So, there's not much you can do if you don't have personnel.
Coach Bell's working his way over here. Coach, another good win.
Thank you. Very proud of you guys coming down here in the rain.
It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
We learn from the best. We were just saying, if you had to scout your own team, you were going to play your own team, how would you scout your team?
Well, I can't give away any secrets, that's for sure. You know what? We're playing well in a lot of phases, and I think offensively, I don't think we're real sharp tonight, to be honest with you. We missed some things early in the passing game. Those have got to be touchdowns. We got guys open. If they're going to overcommit to the running game, we've got receivers. We rushed a couple things in the passing game early. And even in the running game, I mean, we made some big plays. We made some really big plays. That's the thing. If you miss, we're gonna go. And but we also had some things that we thought we could have had, and Troy hung in there and shut some things down. So we have to get better and clean that stuff up. And we knew they would. Troy plays good defense. They do every year. They're very well coached over there. So, but it's going to be a good learning experience for us. Very happy with our defense play. Those Cherry brothers have been ripping off yards every game. Their quarterback was back. He's a good player. LOHS was back. So for our defense to pitch a shutout and come up with big plays, I'm really excited about those guys.
Talk about Brennan Rourke and Nick White and Derek Williams, because we like Doug said, we talk a lot about the offensive side of the ball, but boy, oh boy, those guys tonight seemed like they were in Troy's backfield all night long. And then when you got the pressure up front, you got guys on the back end like Clements and Booker and Vogelmeyer that are making plays on the back end. And talk about those guys.
Yeah. Well, the three guys that you just mentioned, are seniors in the defensive backfield. They're playing like seniors. And when we've had a crew that started as juniors, went through their growing pains, and now they're playing like seniors, and they are. I mean, they're playing as good as any group we've ever had. That ball's in the air. They want it. And Charlie's holding his own over there too. Yep. Charlie's holding his own. But defensively, we're fast. We're fast, and the guys are learning the game. That's the thing. Nick White started last year. Nick White didn't know the game very well. Now he's learning the game, and Derek Derek's probably him and Book are probably our two best players all season long on defense. So, the guys are playing great. And also too, I want to say I was so happy with our special teams. We worked hard on our kickoff team. We're cleaning up our kickoff team. The field goal was big at that time. Our punt coverage is great. So our special teams are very, very good as well. So we're solid, but we have to get better.
Rochester comes in next week, and Rochester's been up and down the last couple of years, but it's also homecoming. So yeah, you want the team to have fun with all the homecoming festivities, but you also know you got a good football team coming in Friday night.
Absolutely, and homecoming is a head coach's nightmare. But our kids do a good job with it every year. They know they can participate in things, but they know the game is their thing. That's our end of the bargain. Is we got to do a great job in the game. That'll be most important. So, the kids are going to be fired up, playing in front of a huge crowd. They'll hopefully have a great night, and and it's what we need in the season. Rochester beat Troy, so Rochester's should be better than this team, and it's what we need. We need to keep playing better teams, keep getting better.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right. That's it from the field. The Dragons beat the Troy Colts 38-0. For our producer director Ian Locke, head coach Chris Bell, my broadcast partner Chris Frisching, and our entire ON TV crew, I'm Doug Corliss. Good night, everyone.